Order, that's enough. I think we conclude that there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us, we're done. Yes. Mr. Grossberg? My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent. No further evidence is required to convince me of the man's guilt. Your Honor. At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Fay? Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth, the whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't, I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Fay, no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute. Mr. Wright, I'll tell you what really happened. But I've already told you, Mr. Wright, there's no need for further. I did it. I admit it, I pushed him. It's my fault. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. Blah, blah, you're lying. Just listen to me. And he pushed him. What you just said, was that the truth? Yes, I was afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure. Well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are. Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Fay? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. He really did push the victim. I feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake. When I pushed the victim. That guy, he was talking bad about Dahlia. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there dead. Well, that explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as you say, is that. A simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. Miss Fay, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that? Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. I pushed the victim. So what kind of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was... Is that all? Yep. Well, Miss Fay, you heard him yourself. Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I lost my temper and gave him a shove. Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? The guy, he just said had just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. And when you did that, there was no severed cables anywhere to be seen? Right. There was nothing like that at all. Is it possible that you merely overlooked it? Well, he's lying on his front, so there's Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let the guy steamroll over you like a cheap asphalt. I believe what's important here is the moment of the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony of witness. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A loud noise? And what would you say the loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was. Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted. You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Could it have been? Yes, could it have been? Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard. An umbrella, huh? And did the umbrella belong to the victim? Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone. Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now? Well? I mean, we can see the umbrella. It is snapped. This is it. Mia, there's new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important, it's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. The court agrees to the defense request. Witness, please add the bit of the cheap umbrella to your testimony. Blah, 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 blah. After I shoved him, he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. So Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella, and you are certain of this? Yeah, it was right there under him. Actually, if it hadn't been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself. The umbrella, you mean? Yes, Phoenix, you're a bit of a bully. Well, yeah, you see I was wearing this sweater here. Dolly stayed up all late for nights at the time knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love. Oof, my stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia. I'm so sorry. Continue with your testimony, witness. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. After you shoved the victim, did you leave the scene right away? Yes, I did. I admit it. I was furious. You left without even checking Mr. Swallow's condition? Well, yeah, but like I said, I got worried about him later. So when I went back, he was just lying there dead. At that time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime? No. Nobody. Jeez, could that stupid cough possibly sound any phonier? In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer. Unless we can find something that shows his innocence from the testimony, my dear. I'm afraid the judge will have his final decision with no remorse whatsoever. Yes, sir. Right now I need more info. Info that will help me turn up some contradictions.
Objection!
Why did you testify the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole. You're absolutely right. The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive. No. But how would you even prove that? Like, what if Phoenix Wright was just lying about the umbrella being under him? The victim moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella is in this photo. Where is it now? Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene. I want it presented as evidence immediately. But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. But I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment. No! I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown into the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony. Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about? Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. I was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying. Let me guess. You have another witness. Exactly. And this witness testimony will be incontrovertible. Well, who is this witness? Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly? I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. What? I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this. You can't be serious. Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we'll listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's all right. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah. So I guess I can start to relax then, huh? Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts. But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life. That's why. The love of your life? Huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and we first met about 8 months ago right here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off, but before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this. So she gave it to you as a present, I see. This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle, all right. It makes me so happy I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. A small bottle necklace goes around. Anyway. So after that, you and Mr. Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, she's so shy. Every time I see her, she's always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl asks for a present back like that. By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in the courthouse. What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say, and I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there is some connection between these two cases, am I correct? I hope you don't mind. Mr. Grossberg. Murder in the courthouse. Very little information is being disclosed at the time since the victim of yesterday's incident in the district courthouse cafeteria is said to have been a lawyer. However, police are questioning the 19-year-old female college student who is sitting with the victim. I need to finish this myself. Ah, yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find. Thank you. I want to do what I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like the recess is about over. We better all get moving. I guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Alright, so far it seems like the internet is holding up. Unfortunately, I can't continue right now because my cousin is coming over. So I'm going to save there. That was a good start to check the internet to know that I'll be fine to cancel my other provider, and we can keep going to this later. We're back. And we're going to see if I can get through at least this part tonight. April 11th, 12:13 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness. This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand. But what's with this stiff silence? Where is my chapstick? My lips feel dry. They have been moisturized. In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity. I can't believe he actually said that. Oh, now then, witness, could you please state your full name? Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous. If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size. And I will bash them with my gavel. I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. If you're all so nice, I almost feel right at home. Not at all. It was nothing. We may move on now. What is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine. No, the honor is all mine. Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Sir? Is there something I can help you with? You just go on and say whatever's on your mind. I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone, I just know it. Yes. I can see why you'd say that. She's going to be a tough witness, all right. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please. I had been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities. I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth. But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue. But what do you mean by that? Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit. What's this? So you two are acquainted? Yes, we've met before. Once. In any case, Miss Fay, the floor is all yours. It's good to see you again, Madame Fay. Madame? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. What I witnessed. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Feeny, I mean Mr. Wright, is in the art department. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Hello, how are you? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese Sararu poetry. Oh, wonderful. It's a common... It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes? Nothing left to do. When a man reaches his age, sleep is his best friend. That's supposed to be poetry. Sounds more like midlife crisis. For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through that back area. Ah, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors. How else would you enter? Teleportation? Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. So, who is this Dougie person? Oh, I'm sorry. Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago. So what were Dougie, Mr. Swallow and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How can you be so mean? What the fuck? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined. That's right, Miss Faye. Don't drag the witness down to your level. Why am I being demonized here? Please go on. What did you see next? Then suddenly Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim? Is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feeny never did anything to Dougie. I press her for no good reason. I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? What do we have? I suppose her statement works in our favor for now. I'll hold off looking into it any deeper until it's necessary. Farewell, young lady. Please go on with your testimony. Oh, hello! I'm wearing my robe over my pajamas because it's a little cold. I assume that's the game. I can turn it down though. 1 second, or I'll turn myself up. I don't know. Just trying to get some sounds figured out because it was really loud. Okay. Hopefully that's not too bad in the recording I did of the first half of this game then. That's when Feeny noticed I was there. And what did Mr. Wright say when he saw you? I'm sorry, I was flustered that I really don't remember. Please forgive me. You don't remember? Well, that's common enough. Sometimes I can't recall the sentence I passed only minutes prior. Please, anyone stop him before he gets hurt by me. I went to go find some other students and they called the authorities. When you say students, do you mean students from the pharmacology department? Yes, they are all very fond of their drugs. Please try to stay on topic. So to find some pharmacology students, you went to the labs, correct? That's what I was planning to do, but in the end, I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the building entrance. Somehow they all seemed to know what was going on. The students knew what was going on? But how could the students have known what was going on? Well, I don't know for sure that they knew what had happened. It's just they all seemed kind of excited about something. It doesn't look like I'm going to get any more info about the students. Hello, devils. How are you? So did the students call the police? Yes, I was so panicked. Yes, well, anyone would have been, my dear. That girl, she's telling a super obvious lie and she knows it. She's just pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Yes, that's not got to be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm going to have to dig deeper to find the contradictions on this one. Okay. People's lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never. Miss Faye, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting... Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job. Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. What? There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth. There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw. Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Doug. You didn't see it? Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground. And at that time, there was only the two of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow? Yes, that's right. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either. So then, what did it look like they were doing to you? I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation. Oh, give me a break. That's why I really wasn't watching them at all that closely. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge. Oh. I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities. Okay. Okay. You say you didn't hear anything unusual, is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me. That's nice, but I find it a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that couldn't fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer? But by all means, I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and I was listening to music at the time. Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered? The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seems as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a sec, Mia. The testimony just now. She said something that could totally change that whole case. Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony. What do you mean? Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct? Yes, what about it? Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right? Now is not the time for science lessons, Miss Fay. Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me. Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered, but that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.